Today I'm talking to Jenny Beckford for She Can. Jenny, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so Stephanie, thank you for allowing me to come on your platform today. My name is Jenny Beckford. I'm a parent and teen coach, founder of life coaching organization Greater Elevation. So I'm based in the UK, and what I do is I support parents with connecting and communicating effectively with their teenagers and helping them to navigate throughout the teenager years. I also help the teenagers with their minds, beliefs, and emotions, and that's done by using evidence-based concepts. And we support them in terms of helping them in terms of setting healthy habits, raising self-esteem, providing accountability, and a whole lot more. So what I do is I provide one-to-one coaching and group coaching, also deliver workshops, and really just help support, the family. So it's not just support for the teenager, but it's parents as well. So it's a formed alliance. That's what I've actually formed to connect everybody together and making sure that we're all on the same page.
Which is such a powerful proposition, Jenny. Tell us a little bit how you got to that stage. How did you get to where you are today? When did you realize this is what I'm interested in? How did this come about?
Okay, so I went on a little bit of a self-discovery journey, say probably about four and a half years ago. And I reached a place where I would describe it as being in emotional turmoil. I wasn't connecting effectively with my daughters because I have twin daughters, identical. They're actually going to be 26 on Sunday. So they're twins. I've been through the teenager years times two. And even though I had 20 years of experience of getting outcomes for young people that I work with from all diverse backgrounds, when it came to my household, it was complete and utter mayhem. So just want to give you sort of the backstory. So I became a single mother at the age of, I think it was about 30. My daughters were about 6 at the time. So as I navigated through teenager years, I felt like I overcompensated for me just being that lone parent. But on that journey, I couldn't communicate effectively with my daughters. I'd come home and I literally called it the tag team, the two against one. That's what I said at the time. Any conversation, we just couldn't connect. So I didn't know much about personal development at that time. And then I discovered Life Coach online. And I thought, well, she sounds good. I'm going to sign up with her. So when I signed up with her, literally I enrolled into her, she had an academy, her name's Laura Lyles, and I was with her academy for 2 years. And on the first year, it's really looking at internal, the internal me, looking at me instead of me pointing the finger back at my daughters that I'd always, oh, she's cheeky or she doesn't listen to me. And my coach made me quite uncomfortable, pointing the finger back at yourself when you've always been that person that's been self-defensive and knows it all. That's how I used to be. So on the first year, really got to work. And on the second year, I enrolled in her leadership academy. And at that time, she was trying to help me define what my purpose is. And even though I've worked with young people for well over 20 years, I did not have a clue. She kept saying to me, you need to know what your purpose is. What do you enjoy? What do people say you're good at? And then all of a sudden, a light bulb. I like working with young people. So it was then I decided that I am actually going to start up my own coaching business. So predominantly at the beginning, initially it was to support teenagers. But then looking back at the work that I did and when I got coaching, my connection with my daughters changed extremely. I mean, even today, we've got a close bond. And it was only because I did the internal work on myself. So I thought, right, I need to support the parents. And so what I did is coupled it together, went and got certified as a teen coach. And then in addition, done some certified in NLP, currently in my final year of completing a master's in science and coaching psychology, very high up when it comes to personal development. I like to pour into myself so I can provide the value. So I decided to create Greater Elevation and support the parents and the teenagers. So what I'm doing now is I have a Facebook group of about 580 parents from all over the world. They can receive strategies, video resources, masterclasses. I jump in and I'm really helping these parents from all around the world, because I started in COVID. So of course, made use of the virtual, and that's how it all began. So for me, that's how I got started. And the coaching that I got, not only did it restore my relationship with my daughters, with my mother, with the people around me, because I was a person that had a lot of broken relationships, and it's because of the way that I was. So I support the parents to look at the way, in terms of not them being a bad parent, but looking at ways of, I call it, let's move away from the old school parenting. Stop going on about, in my days we used to do this, in my days we used to do that. Let's look at the new way of how we can communicate with our teens. So yeah, I've been doing that now for it's probably coming up to 3 years now. And yeah, that's how I got started, worked on myself, and then decided, right, this is what I'm going to do.
What a beautiful story, Jenny. I love that you learned to take responsibility for yourself, and then that made everything else, and you made a business out of it. Jenny, what would you say is your
Yeah,
biggest motivators in your job today?
I would say my biggest motivator is when I support the parents and help them to provide them with strategies in ways that they would never think before. So not only, it's the work with the parent and the teenager, it's moving them from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And when I start to see that from the beginning, where the parents are really resistant, the team was really resistant in terms of changing the way of thinking, that really motivates me when we come to the end of our program and we've got the outcomes that we set out for. Because I'm very, I make sure that I'm aligned with the parents and the teen. I just don't sign up anybody. We have a concept, seeing the way that the families are able to connect more and more effectively. And even after I've left them, they contact me and say, things are really, really doing really well, because they've got those strategies. So yeah, that motivates me to see that I'm getting those positive outcomes. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Jenny. Jenny, what would you say are the qualities that make you good at your job? What is it where you think, this is what I got, and therefore I'm really good at my job or at life in general?
Okay, the qualities I would say for myself is, I'm a person that can listen from a non-judgmental space, because that's what a lot of these families need. And for me, it's about not trying to get them to think the way that I do, but really trying to help them to start to take that responsibility. Yeah. And I'm able to, with the open questions and the active listening, I'm able to pick that out straight away. And I get some parents and teenagers going, how did you know that? Because I always know that, every week we're pulling out something that has been withheld, something that they've been holding on to, where it's been past pain. I always talk about, for me, it's about unlearning rather than learning. So for me, it's the way that I'm able to connect with the families and able to detect that, yeah, we need to go down this route in able to get that outcome. So for me, it's about listening and taking on board where the parents have come from and the teenagers where they are, meeting them where they're at. So for me, I'm a person that I'm able to listen, and because I do a lot of personal development as well, I research on the mind, the mindset, the brain. For me, that's me, like psychology. I love it. I'm always researching. So, looking at people's biases, and really making sure that, one size does not fit all. But for me, it's about, yeah, I can touch that button and know that, yeah, we're onto something, and I'm able to kind of open up the parents and the teens. And sometimes we're looking at things that they didn't know that they want to discover. They start off saying they want to hit this goal, but by the time we get through the program, we've unlocked something else. So I'm very good at unlocking people's potential. I'm very good at that. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, Jenny. Jenny, you mentioned something that I think we need to explore quickly. Active listening. What does that mean? Because it's a really beautiful thing.
Okay, so the way I explain to parents It's listen without wanting to fix that person without a solution. It's really just zoning in and listening to what they're saying. And sometimes making sure that you're repeating back to them so that they know that you are listening and you're not just listening to respond. That's how I would identify active listening. It's being there in the moment and listening to what the individual is saying.
Yeah.
And giving them that opportunity to voice maybe what they might be going through.
Thank you for clarifying. Jenny, what top tips would you give to sort of the 3 top tips to parents of teenagers?
Okay, so the first top tip would be active listening, making sure that the parent is there to listen and really just listening without any judgments, because your teenager sometimes may come to you and may start to get comfortable with you if you're not going to have a reaction. So I'd always say active listening, that's the first thing. The second thing is creating a space where your teenager can come to you no matter what. All right. So, you know, it may be that your teenager might want to speak to you about something that they probably would not have spoken to you about before. It's about you creating that safe space for them to be able to come and speak to you. And number 3, it's about setting boundaries. You know, a lot of parents that I work with, they say to me, I'm not trying to be my child's friend, and it's fine. It's great to be their friend, but it's about setting clear boundaries so that you are aware as a parent what your boundaries are, and your teenager is aware what boundaries are. So it's about setting those boundaries and coming to an agreement when you're setting those boundaries so that yourself and your teenager is very much on the same page.
I love these tips. Thank you so much, Jenny. Jenny, what are your goals? What are your plans? What's in store for you? How will you continue your own company?
Okay, so I'm looking at creating a coaching curriculum, and that's going to be rolled out to some schools and organizations. I'm looking at creating exclusive parent mastermind. That's actually in the making as we speak. I'm also looking at creating something separately for the young people in helping them to become coaches themselves. So that's something in the pipeline. I've also recently been nominated for an award, Single Mum Business Network Award. I opened an email last week, much to my surprise. Thought it was spam, but no, contacted them, it's a real thing. So I've been put up for an award, which I'm very happy about. So shameful plug, everybody vote for me, Single Mum Business Network. You just go onto my page and you'll be able to click on the link and you'll be able to vote for me. So those are the things that I've got going on. I'm going to be going into some schools in the next couple of weeks to deliver some confidence workshops in terms of helping young people with their confidence, and tapping into other organizations where I'm going to be going into organizations under the well-being sort of sector in terms of helping parents of teenagers as well. So really got a lot going on in the pipeline, because I'm very I'm that person that wants to get that message out and wants to help as much people as possible. Yeah.
Jenny, it's impressive, and congratulations to this award, and we will put this link in your bio so everyone can click on it. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.